Chris, Rasmus, thanks for joining us. This is after the Manchester derby. People have talked about Manchester United's season. We're coming to the end very much of the season. I think it's fair. It's not been great, has it? I was just wondering, to try and put some perspective and context on what you've been through as a team, because there's been a lot of change and a lot of talk and everything else. Just how you feel in general, starting with you, Chris, about the season so far, or what it's been like.
No, I think you're right. There's been a lot of talking in this season, but at the same time, we had United, so you know there's going to be a lot of focus on the club and on the players and everything. And obviously, like you started saying, it's not been the best season for us. So of course, there's been lots of ups and downs, and a bit more downs than what we wanted. But yeah, a lot of stuff can happen in a season. Take away the cup games, but then we're still in Europa League, which is our aim to push, and then at the same time for the league to continue that until the end. But obviously, it's been a season with ups and downs. Yes.
We'll get back to Rasmus and Christian in just a quick second, but remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. And don't forget to click the notification button so that you know when the next Big D video hits. And as ever, if something is on your mind, if something is bubbling up inside of you that you need to express, please express it in the comments. Big D reads all of the comments, and he's always interested in what is on your mind. Anyway, in this little clip, it's an interview between Rasmus Højlund and Christian Eriksen, and they are going to be talking about Manchester United's turgid season so far, the changes that they are talking about in terms of Ruben Amorim's system and what the future might hold for both of them. Anyway, it's a really nice little interview as well. It's nice to hear from these two. You don't normally hear from these two guys, so it's nice to see that they're giving their opinions. But stick around for after the clip, because the Big D is going to be giving his thoughts on what he said in this clip. Here they are.
And being so young as you are, Rasmus, what would your experience, what would you say about what's been going on and how you have found it?
Yeah, well, like Christian is saying, a bit ups and downs. Obviously, a bit more downs than ups. I think we can all agree on that. But we still got loads to play for. I think, yeah, we still got the Europa League, and obviously we're still trying to adapt to a new system, and we still got even more time to prove ourselves and show to the manager and to the club that this is the way we want to go.
Talk to us then about the new system, how you're having to adapt, how you're having to challenge yourselves, how you're having to get used to the new system that the manager has brought in and wants to play, and explain how difficult is that to do?
Well, it's difficult to really put down in words and to describe like this is what you should do and shouldn't do. Then it's easier talking than actually do it. And I think also it's where we come from now. When I arrived, it was obviously with Ten Hag a bit of a different playing style, a bit of different philosophy of playing, and then now it's a bit of different system, and you have to adapt to that. And often when you do that in a season, it's tougher to turn around because everyone is already in the rhythm of the manager before. But yeah, at the same time, I do like the manager said a few times, I think you're seeing a progression in that side, like people getting more used to the system, the positions you're playing in. So it's more about getting that proper transformation in a good way.
How long can that take though, Rasmus, to get it right?
Well, everything. I think if you ask the manager, he wants it to be done by tomorrow. But then again,
it's
the same for us. Yeah, but it's the same for us as well. We want to do it as best as possible, and we want to change it as fast as possible. But there's no recipe to these sort of things. It comes with time. It's the same with development. I think, yeah, everybody. I want to score 100 goals tomorrow if I can, but it's about progression and keep focusing about what you can do and how you can get to that level, and that's what we're trying to do every day. How do you get to that level then? I think it's a big cocktail about with a lot of things. Obviously, like working hard is a big part of it, but especially also being interested about learning new things, wanting to become better. That's where the recipe is.
Ruben Amorim, he himself has done more talking than he's probably ever been used to in his career as a coach. He said it to us that he's not used to the spotlight, he's not used to the amount of interviews he has to do before a game and after a game. And that takes adjusting and that takes time to get used to. What's it like within that training ground? Because the way that you talk amongst yourselves and and what you do and how you feel about yourselves as well, I imagine is different to how the outside world, and I hate using that word, outside world, but it's a term that's used now to what people don't see, to actually what goes on.
No, I think you are. It is like you're in your little bubble. It's like you're at the training ground and it's our bubble, and then obviously the season we're having, like you're saying, the people outside our bubble is, the perception is very negative on terms, so it's difficult also to read through what's happening outside and then still coming into training and being the happy and being normal, and then obviously it takes something from you that you have to be aware of whatever is going on outside instead of just being happy inside and outside. But I think in our bubble we're just trying to, we connect with each other with a good group, some lovely people in between, and everybody's really trying to work hard and change things as quick as possible, but sometimes it doesn't really happen as fast as you want. But no, we are in our bubble, and then it's about us to get everyone going and follow the bubble, really.
Is it a good bubble?
I think we're trying to build an environment now where we can grow and where we can develop ourselves. I think it's a very young group as well. Like so a lot of young people and young players coming through now, which is sort of, we're helping each other, the competition getting sharper, and it helps each other to make us better. And then obviously it's important to have them players like Christian and a little bit older players who can get through that experience that they got, and
I loved it, like that, like them players, like Christian.
Yeah.
No, he's
we know what you mean.
He's experienced now, and he got loads of years in the Premier League. I think he rounded 300 games. I can't even remember, when was it, 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a man with a lot of experience and a lot of football years.
How much has he helped you though, Rasmus?
Well,
since you came to Old Trafford, because you've won the FA Cup.
Yeah.
So you came here, you won a trophy in your first season.
Yeah, definitely. I think Christian's been great. He's done it in a calm way. He's not been like a father over me and said what to do and sort of things, but he's just sort of helped me settle, obviously. Helped me obviously where to live and these sort of things. But he's also been great at just approaching me at the right times, but also giving me the input that if he could see that I needed it sometimes, but without like sort of totally, because I think it's also, I gotta find my own way, sort of. So he's been great at understanding when to sort of help me and when just to lead me and sort of find my own way, if you can put it that way. That helped me a lot. So.
Is it tough to find your own way?
What do you want me to say?
I don't know. I mean, are you still looking? Are you still looking?
Yeah, again, I think you are looking. I think also he might still be looking. Like you're trying to get the best out of yourself every day, so you will always be looking at something, won't you? But it's different. It's difficult, especially when you're 20 years of age, when you came first, and sort of had to understand like. Obviously the group, but also the environment and the pressure of being a Man United player, and that sort of way I had to find myself. But he's also been helping me a lot.
Christian, that's just it, though, isn't it? People talk about finding yourself or the Manchester United way. It's such a high-profile club. The intensity, the spotlight is so bright. It's hard to adjust, and also coming to a club that isn't being as successful as it wants to be.
Yeah, no, you put it right. I think even what Rasmus is saying, I think if you are 20 years old and you come to a club like United, the pressure is on straight away, and you have to learn to live with it and deal with it really early on. And then, like he's saying, I'm sure Rasmus has found his way in some way, and like he said, it's always going to change or develop, or you learn new stuff or whatever. But I think especially here with all the focus from the outside, you're saying the spotlight is on you, and in a bad time at the club, then obviously it's going to be a lot hard, like mentally. Very hard for a lot of the young guys, where it's the first time going through and you come through this kind of pressure. Then I can only imagine if you go through how happy and how easy you would feel afterwards. So yeah, it's just about really pushing through and find your way.
Yeah, but it comes down to also like I knew that was part of the package when I signed. You know, it is what it is. Like it's part of the story of being a Man United player. You get criticised if you're not performing to the level, and if you're not up there where where the club wants to be, which is completely fair. But like Christian's also saying, you can't really get too like emotionally like you can't get into a whole sort of thing. You need to like keep yourself sorted and find your own way to perform, and that's what we're here for.
As a fan, does it make it harder for you because you support the team that you want the most successful, as well as playing for that team as too?
Not really. I wouldn't say that. I'm always just. I'm not a fan anymore. I'm a player for this football club, and that's different. Obviously, I want to. Whenever I stop playing for this football club in the future, then when I'm 50 or whatever, then I will still be looking at this club as a football player. You know what I mean? Like it can be. You know what I mean?
Beat Gixie. Yeah.
But in terms of like whenever I'm done, I'm going to be a fan again. But right now, I'm focusing on about performing.
I was just wondering, Christian, because I mean he's said it a few times, you know, referencing the experience you have and your age as well. If you could give like yourself, the younger self of you, some advice, like what would your life advice be if you were starting out like Rasmus, well, not just starting out, but being the age and the progression that he's going to go on?
Well, which I haven't done too bad for myself in that term. Also moved to Spurs when I was 21, so going through all that stage. But I think in general, just not even for Rasmus, but everyone, it's just like finding your own way, because every club is different. Any manager, whoever comes through, it's gonna be a different perspective, different view from the outside, from the inside. So it's really about finding your own way as a player, find out how you perform, how you don't perform, and then from there just try to build on. That was my aim from early on, and then that would probably be my advice from looking back, like do what you know, and then of course try new stuff, but just be good at what you do.
Can you still apply that though when you say you were coming through at Spurs at the age that you did and what you've gone on to achieve? Things are so different now though, aren't they? The way that we all live our lives are so different.
Yeah, there's more social media power, I would say, in terms of when I came through, but it's not that long ago. But just times change so quickly, and then being at United, the focus just extra. So yeah, I do feel sorry for the generation coming through now because of all the social media, because all of the whatever you call it, post messages, all sorts that you can easily get dragged into, which you don't need to get dragged into, but in some way it's going to be news for your friends, for your family, for you. It's going to be it's a world that you could easily be trapped in.
There's no fear of you being trapped in that world?
No, he's fine.
No, I'm alright. Yeah, I'm alright.
So for the rest of this season, very much you've got still European competition as well. Hopefully success in that, and people do say it, but it is about finishing the season as strong as you possibly can.
I think it's the boring answer, but it's the right one.
It's the boring question as well, to be honest.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Like
I like the fact you picked up the very British saying of "it is what it is."
Yeah, that is right.
You know what, I mean, I really like Christian Eriksen and Rasmus Højlund, and it's really interesting to see these two players, have this interview together. Now I know they're both from Denmark and whatnot, but it's just two players at opposite ends of their career, and they're almost in a similar position in a way as well. So Christian Eriksen is obviously in the back end of his career, and he's not quite at the level that he used to be at, that we would like him to be at, and it's understandable, especially the health issues that he's gone through as well. I mean, he died on a football pitch, unfortunately, and then obviously he was resuscitated, and then he's picked up his career again, and then he signed for Manchester United, So, I mean, credit to him. He must have some fight in him and some drive and will to succeed. So you've got to credit him with that. And even in his first season at Man United, he was actually quite good. I do remember him when he first signed. He played really well. His passing was good. He played well in big games. It's just, Father Time catches up with us all, But Rasmus Højlund, on the other end, is obviously at the beginning of his career, but he's also not quite at the level that we want him to be, But I always got the impression that Christian Eriksen was a little bit of a late starter, It wasn't until he was maybe in his mid-20s that he really started to kick on as a top-level footballer, and he was fantastic. He should have had, to be fair, he should have had a more illustrious career, right? But he wasted a lot of time at Tottenham. He should have been playing for Barcelona or maybe Real Madrid or Bayern Munich or something like that. He was good enough back in his heyday, And I mean, you've got Rasmus Højlund, who he's got so much potential. So much potential. I know he's been having a hard time of it lately, but I mean, even just in this little clip there, you can just see that he's level-headed. He's saying all the right things. He's not giving it the big one or anything like that. He's just down to earth, and he's saying, this is what we need to do. This is where we need to get to, and he seems to be doing that. I have never watched Rasmus Højlund and thought that guy is not putting the effort in. And it's just a shame that Christian Eriksen is not a number 9, really, because Christian Eriksen is obviously a brilliant pro, and he's got the right attitude, the right mentality, and as I said before, what he's had to overcome, that should be an inspiration to all the young players, not only his compatriot there in Rasmus Højlund. So Rasmus can learn a lot from Eriksen on the mentality side of things, on the professionalism side of things. It's just a shame that he's not a number 9, because the way I see it is, well, it's two things that's not quite working for Rasmus Højlund at the moment, and that is one, he's like all the players, they're getting used to this new system and all of that. But secondly, it's sort of game intelligence. It doesn't seem to be in the right positions at the right time. From what I can see, there's been plenty of times when the defence have won the ball, when the other team has been attacking, they've looked up and Rasmus Højlund is in the box with them. And it's like, no, you should be up there because you were bought to score goals. Get up there, and the closer you are to their goal, the more chance you're going to get to score. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. And I almost wish that Rasmus could maybe, go on loan somewhere for a season. A bit like Diogo Dalot. Because he had a challenging couple of years when he first signed for Man United. He had some injuries and whatnot, and he was good going forward, but he wasn't very good defending, and he was just a little bit inconsistent and whatnot. But then he went to AC Milan, of all places, for a season, and he studied under the great Paolo Maldini. And by all accounts, all Paolo Maldini said to him was, right, you just need to concentrate on positioning. If you position yourself in the right place at the right time, that is half the battle. And he'd done that, and he improved at AC Milan. He come back to United, and then he's pretty much a first-team player from there on in. And he's just gotten better and better and better. And again, he's another one that's getting a little bit of flack at the moment, but I think he's a little bit underrated. Because there's not that many players at United at the moment who are standing out, really. Obviously, you've got Bruno, who is standing out. Xerxes is starting to stand out a little bit, but everyone else, they've just kind of been average at best. So I don't know why Diogo Dalot is getting a lot of flack, because he's just the same as most players. Why is he getting flack and Mazraoui's not getting flack? Why is he getting flack and, say, Harry Maguire not getting flack? So the point I'm trying to make is, if Rasmus Højlund could go to, Barcelona for a year and sat on their bench or whatever, he could learn from Robert Lewandowski, or if he went to AC Milan, say, I don't know if he's still there. I think if Zlatan Ibrahimovic is still at AC Milan as their director of recruitment or whatever it was that he was doing at AC Milan, he could learn directly from Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Or even if Man United hired Zlatan Ibrahimovic to come in to be, you know, head strike coach or something like that, or whatever. Or if United signed Harry Kane or something, you know, an experienced number 9 that could coach Rasmus Højlund to become the player that he has the potential to become, because his attributes are just too strong for him, and he works too hard for him not to achieve the level that he should achieve. He works too hard. He puts too much effort in. And if he's able to get that game intelligence just drilled into his mind, and he can download that, then everything should come together, and then all of a sudden he'll just go poof. Bit like Eriksen when he was at Spurs. Because credit to Spurs, fair enough, they did help develop him, and it was a good place for him to develop, because no one watches Spurs. So that's a good place to develop, but so he can make a lot of mistakes. Whereas with Rasmus Højlund, he's been thrown in at the deep end at Man United, a Man United with no solid foundation, a Man United with no one for him to learn from, and a Man United in transition. The perennial transitionary team. A team that's been in transition for the past, how many years now? What are we on? 12 years since Alex Ferguson retired. 12 years Man United have been crap by their historical standards. So if he slotted into, I don't know, if he came in 2008 and he had Rooney and Ronaldo and Tevez to learn from, it'd be great, you know. Or even a couple of years after that, when we had say Van Persie and Rooney that he could learn from, that would be ideal for the lad, you know. But I just feel as though Højlund, he just needs a bit of mentorship. And that'll just kick him on nicely. And then all of a sudden we'll have the number 9 that we need. The long-term number 9. But it's going to be very interesting to see who United bring in as a number 9 next season. I think we need 2, to be honest. Osimhen and Vlahovic. Because Vlahovic can play in a deep lying role. So he could be in one of those number 10 positions that pushes forward just a little bit further. Potentially. And then Osimhen up front. And then Højlund can learn from those 2 players. That would be really good. That would be ideal, really. But it's been a strange season. Lots of ups and downs. More downs than anything, really. The season never really got started. And then, obviously, once Ten Hag got sacked, then Ruben Amorim has sort of bitten off everything that he can possibly chew. And he's trying his best to chew it and digest it in time for the running of the Europa League and pre-season and next season, really. Hopefully he's got a big appetite, and hopefully he doesn't shit the bed next season. Excuse the big D's language, but it had to be said. But what do you guys think? Do you think Rasmus Højlund has got something in his locker that he can unlock to become the world-class striker that we want him to become? Or do you think Man United should cut their losses for the lad? Thoughts in the comments, and the big deal. See you in the next one.